What does a guy know that's been to Note graduate school for 18 years? Stand by. So welcome to today's edition of Note School TV, and as always, we have an amazing guest. But before we bring that guest on, let's take care of a little housekeeping things here, right? First, make sure that you like this this show today just by hitting that like button. Make sure that if you have not already done so, make sure and subscribe to our Note School TV channel. And finally, hit that bell notification. Yes, really hit that bell notification so that you will be notified every time that we go live. When? 11:05 Central Time every Wednesday. And for those of you that want to know more about Note School, simply go to noteschool.com/TV, and we would love to engage with you on anything that you would like to know about Note School and learn more about how to go to a one-day class and what Note School is about. So again, noteschool.com/TV. And now let's go to the news. January, the most competitive month on record as far as bidding wars. So in January, bidding wars rate high, 70%, guys. Yes. Let me get my little pen out here so I can make a couple of notes here. 70% over here. From in 2020, we had April of 2020, we were down here about 32%. And you can see the trajectory of this thing going up. 70% was in a bidding war of some type. Guys, most on record in the last, ever, right? So then, guys, we used to hear stories about zombie houses. So vacant homes slowly decline as foreclosures rise. So I'm reading something from Adam Data Solutions, released for first quarter of 2022. Vacant properties and zombie foreclosure reports that 1.4 residential properties throughout the U.S. are vacant. And currently 229,000 of those are in the foreclosure process as of the end of January as well. The states with the highest number of these zombie vacant houses, with almost 230,000 in foreclosure, is New York, Ohio, Florida, Illinois, and Pennsylvania. So guys, again, we have the hottest market we can possibly have on one side, and we have all of this on the other. So guys, that is the news for this week. And well, it's time for me to bring on our fearless leader, our chief visionary officer, founder of Note School, Mr. W. Eddie Speed. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
I am doing great. We heard a lot about these zombie houses in the past, haven't we?
Joe, here's the thing. The reason they weren't foreclosed on before, because they were worthless. They had no value. The reason they're being foreclosed on now is because those lots have value.
That's right.
And people are willing to rehab some they wouldn't have been willing to rehab before. So the inventory is really tight.
Yep.
And even the lowest of the low, the zombie houses are getting absorbed. And so that's a great thing for us. Anybody that's ever been around those zombie house neighborhoods or seen them, and I've seen a whole train load of them. I feel like I've seen 200,000 myself.
Well, and you know, Eddie, it's just a blight. It takes down the value of every house in the neighborhood as well. So it's a good thing. And glad that those things are moving forward, and we're working through that. So, yep.
So great intro, Joe. What does a guy know that's been in Note graduate training for 18 years? And the answer is, this guest you're going to meet today knows a lot.
He does. Very wise man.
So he lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. He has quite a Southern humor. And he says he lives in the great state of Raleigh.
He does.
It's its own state now, Joe.
Well, according to our guest, it is. And he has the beard to verify that knowledge.
Got a little Colonel Sanders going on there, doesn't he? Hey, let's welcome my friend, Joe and I's dear friend, Mr. Tim Siebelink.
Hey, guys. Hello.
How you doing
today? I'm doing excellent. Thank you so much.
Well, we set you up well by the Colonel Sanders thing. You know that.
Well,
huh?
you know, that you just got to do that from time to time. You got to grow a little bit.
Joe, in 2004, I remember teaching a 3-day live class in Grapevine, Texas. And there was a guy in that class, and I remember him. I remember he was quiet by nature, but he asked good questions. And that's the first time I ever met Tim Siebelink.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a spell, right?
I remember, I've taught thousands of people, Tim. You do realize that, right?
Yep.
I absolutely remember you in the class, and I remember, you just had a good demeanor about you, and you seem likable. I'm a people person, and you clearly are.
Yeah.
Tim, I want to talk a little bit today about your journey. There's people watching this, and I know how humble you are. I know how you don't think you're a big deal. Yeah. And I just want to talk about what that journey has been. And you're never going to brag or say, I was all this in a bag of chips. It's just not your nature. But there's something that you did to be able to go do so many different things in the note business over the years. Because what we taught in 2004 and what we taught in 2010 and what we taught in 2016, they were very different markets, right, Tim?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What did you see in the note business, first of all?
Well, I like the note business because there's so much you can do with a note versus a property. Like everybody else in 08 and 09, 10, I took a slaughter on my rentals. All my hard assets just took a nosedive. And that's what really, really turned me hard into the note business. Yeah. Knowing that I could have a note as an asset and it's got a predetermined return as long as the borrowers pay as agreed. Mm-hmm. And I'm not worried about the market going up or down with the real estate. I'm not worried about a water heater or a roof or anything like that. It's an amazing investment tool as far as I'm concerned.
And you back in the 2008 or after 2008, you bought a lot of non-performing too, right?
Yes.
But
I
you
really
did a lot of
did
deal
that.
Structuring, correct?
One more time.
A lot of deal structuring.
Yes. What was nice about in 09 and 10, when we were buying the non-performing notes, you could actually still go back to the homeowner and go, do you want to stay or do you want to go? If they wanted to stay and they had the means to stay, that was the best part, is just knowing you're helping a family being able to stay in their home and to structure a deal, make a deal that works for both of us.
Yeah, the licensing wasn't so tough in those days, and you could just call the homeowner up and kind of work through it, and you had a good way of doing it, and you saved a lot of people's homes.
Yes, yeah, and it's just a good heart feel for me to be able to do something like that.
And to put that into perspective, guys, what we're talking about here is that back then, and you've heard Eddie and I talk about this over the past, weeks and months, is that most of the houses were underwater. So when we were buying a non-performing loan at a deep discount, we could then give those guys drop the balance, right, Eddie? Right, Tim?
Absolutely. Yeah. There was so much you could do with it.
Yeah, and there's certainly going to be modifications in this non-performing loan cycle. It's different, Tim, because as you know, and what we're doing today in Note School is teaching the non-performing loans today are typically equitable.
Correct.
meaning that the payoff is way less than what the property's worth, meaning that you're not going to end up with a property at foreclosure. Less time, less effort, and a heck of a good return.
Yep. It's a little bit different animal today than it was in 9 and 10 when we were doing the NPLs, evidently. Absolutely.
Yeah. One thing, Tim, that has always impressed me about you, I don't know that I've seen the most case studies from you from any student ever, but dang close to it. I've seen a lot of your good case studies. And every time you have a signature in the fact that you figure out some angle beyond, right? I remember that you bought a property and rehabbed it in Ohio, right? You live in Raleigh, North Carolina. How many deals have you done in Raleigh? No,
Absolutely zero.
like zero?
Zero.
In 18 years, you've never done a note deal in Raleigh?
No, sir. I've only got like 3 or 4 in North Carolina as a whole. Everything else is outside North Carolina.
So you don't have to be in your backyard.
No, absolutely not.
Remember, you bought a deal and it was in foreclosure, and you got it fixed up, and the people that were buying it from you wanted to swap you a property.
Yes.
So you took their equity in the property as a down payment and owner financed the balance of it to them.
Correct.
Then you owner financed the other property they swapped to you.
Absolutely. That was a sweet little twofer.
That was a twofer.
That was a twofer.
So I want to go back. Joe, help me out here. I want to make sure that the audience gets today. Tim has a lot of really cool case studies. He's done a lot of cool things. But I want to go back, Tim, a little bit as to, what did you see? Like when you're looking at the business, if you can remember that far back, when you're looking at the business, what was it you were looking for when you looked into notes?
In 2004, it was just something new and very intriguing. I like numbers. So obviously notes, there's a lot of numbers both ways on it. But what really got me was the 2008 downturn, where you have these assets and they're worth X amount. And then 6 months later, these assets are, they're dropping, like they're gone. So that really, and then the non-performing, that was really, to me, that was the kicker. That's when I really got rolling in it. And we did very well with the non-performing, learned a lot of the deal making, how to do this, how to do that. And it's actually just reaching out to the homeowner going, how can I help? How can I help you? And, it obviously it helped us tremendously as well, but it's more of how can I help you? I know you got hit on because I lost a lot in 2008 and 2009. So that's really what brought me around to the notes. And
Tim,
once you create the note, it's passive. You're done, right? Because the servicer handles everything for you.
And we know Tim very well. And Tim is one of these guys that he doesn't mind getting out there and getting with it, right? I mean, he'll go out and he'll put on a wetsuit and, pressure wash a house in Orlando, in Ohio, in the middle of the winter. I know that, right?
That was a chilly day.
It's a chilly day. But Tim, you were very good at talking with these folks, when they were in a bad situation. People can look at you right now and they can go, this guy, I would talk to this guy. I would share with this guy because I trust him and I believe that, he wants to help me. And I think that was very beneficial to you as well.
And people really do open up and they tell you a whole lot more than what you want to know. I don't care about their crazy uncle that did this, but that's all part of the game, right? You're listening. You have to listen to them. And feel their pain and what can you do to help. And sometimes you sit and listen to some pretty crazy stories, but people really do open up to you once you get that rapport with them. Absolutely.
So Tim, we're going to do a commercial right now, and that commercial is about a class, and you've been to countless note school high-end events, masterminds, deal labs, all the above. But you actually came back to a one-day class the other day, and we're going to have an advertisement so other people can learn. What if a guy's been training for 18 years? Why might he want to learn about what you could do at a one-day class? When we come back, we're going to continue with my friend, Mr. Tim Siebelink.
Well, hello, everyone. It is Brian with the teaching team here at Note School, and I'm excited that I get to be the one to invite you to the upcoming Gold in Notes class. That's right. It is a one-day deeper dive class that we call Gold in Notes because of how valuable this time spent is. This is a full day that we really get to dig into the nitty-gritty, the whole world of creative financing, not just how to acquire more deals, how to get access to more capital, how to defer a lot of the taxes for us as well as for the sellers that we're talking to, and really learn how to create your own notes. And really, once you learn how to create your own notes, this is really where we spend an entire afternoon really pulling back the curtain on what the note business is, from wholesaling notes, buying and holding performing notes to really build your wealth. I'll even show you a strategy called partials, which is by far the best wealth building tool I've ever seen in the real estate space. And we're definitely going to spend some time talking about non-performing notes, which is by far the biggest opportunity in today's marketplace, solely because of the events that have happened over the past couple of years. This is when people are not paying their mortgages, and we're going to make a lot of big money from these bad debts, and we're going to help a lot of people get a second chance. It's an absolutely fantastic day. Come spend a day really digging and discover a lot of this stuff so that you too can start building your wealth. It's a day meant to really be engaging. Bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your business problems, and we will see you there.
We had a good time at that one-day class, didn't we?
We most certainly did.
Tim is a very, very good host when you go to Raleigh. We've had some great times there with our friend Tim, and one of the things too I want to say about Tim is that he has done a lot for some of the younger guys that want to get into the business. I know he's helping a young man right now, and in the past with Jake and some of these guys, you've done a lot to do that, to bring them along, to kind of show them what they can do in this part of the business, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not competition, right? There's so much out there, and I'm more than willing to share my knowledge with somebody to help them along, as long as they're willing to do it. I'm not going to do it for them.
Yeah.
But it's everything that Note School and Eddie has taught and pushed my way, and it's just I don't mind helping the next crowd coming up. Absolutely.
And Tim is a very busy guy as well. He's we hear some of these young guys talk about they're serial entrepreneurs. Well, Tim is a serial entrepreneur, right?
That's a matter of fact.
The shipping business, the furniture business, and this business, and all of that as well.
Freight forwarding. Yeah.
Freight forwarding business. Yeah.
I think, Tim, what I would say about that, and you are definitely a serial entrepreneur, is you have been able to do the note business in conjunction with these other businesses that really don't relate to the note business at all.
No. Yep.
And you've done a good job at putting people in those positions to run those other businesses, so you can go do this and what you want to do.
Right. Or whatever I care to do for that day at this point. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Tim, I want to talk about today's market. We can, as you said, early in the game, you did a lot of, just looking at notes and buying notes and partials and all that stuff. Brian mentioned that in the little commercial a while ago. And then you progress forward. And then after 2008, there was kind of a bonanza, not kind of a bonanza. There was a bonanza buying non-performing notes. And then by the mid 2010s, 2015, 16, 17, you really were pretty much driving a market of creating seller finance notes. You were buying houses and owner financing them back out, right?
Correct. Yep.
So you've done it like about every way somebody can do it, one way, shape, or form. So I wanted to go back to what we talked about in the class the other day, because we looked in the class. We had a heart surgeon. We had a couple of newbie real estate investors that almost hadn't done a deal yet, or probably hadn't. you had some seasoned landlords, you had a banker in there. Like, what is it from their perspective? Just looking back and thinking about it, what is it that they could see of how notes might fit their life? Not just Tim Siebelink's life, but their life.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know, Eddie. Everybody's got their own whatever, what they want to do in their life. Some of the, like maybe the heart surgeon or the bankers, they maybe just have capital they want to deploy.
Mm-hmm.
On the younger side, those just getting started, this is a great opportunity for them to generate long-term wealth. And you don't need a lot of time. I mean, you got to put time into it. You have to learn. You have to have the knowledge. Without the knowledge, you're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
But I mean, it's a great way for them to build their long-term wealth. So there's something in it for everybody. I do believe that. Either you already have the wealth and you want to protect it by a fairly safe investment that can have really good yield, or if you're just getting into it, how to learn how to use other people's money to generate your own long-term wealth.
And you've used a lot of private capital.
I have. Yes, sir.
Is that been one of the best things you've done?
It definitely propelled me forward to be able to use much more of my own at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice if it's always 100% yours, but on the flip side, if you don't have it, then what's wrong with 50%? That's.
Well, and you're making money off of their money because they're earning a passive yield and you're earning more of an active yield.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
And you've done some killer case studies where you use leveraging techniques and doing all that.
Yep.
And, Tim, you just recently bought yourself a commercial business for one of your other businesses using something else we teach, and that's creative financing, right?
Yep. Seller financing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Took me a while with the old boy, but he finally come around to what I was looking for. Didn't quite get what I want, but it turned out very well.
Tim, we teach obviously a lot of people from pretty highly advanced real estate investors to people that are fairly new, this buying on terms technique, right? And it's pretty common that Joe and I will be in some environment and somebody will go, yeah, Eddie, I tried the buying on terms, but they didn't want to do it. And the answer is they gave up before the play developed.
For sure.
And I thought it would be good to talk about that because you are very patient at letting the play develop.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One, you have to I have found a lot of times sellers don't understand seller financing, right? They just know that I'm going to put it up for sale and somebody's either going to pay me cash or they're going to the bank and I'm going to get cash. So it is a learning curve that you have to teach the seller. And then it all depends on their situation. Sometimes they just got to have cash and they just won't work, but you have to be patient. I mean, I've sat on stuff that I'm selling myself. I had a property I've been sitting on about 3.5 acres for 4 years, just waiting. And we finally just sold it. The returns are phenomenal. But again, it was patience and just sitting on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're right. You have to educate the seller and show them things they never would have thought of. Like we talk about now, the pointing out to the landlord that if he sells and owner finances this, all of a sudden he's got a tax advantage he never even thought about,
Absolutely.
Which is he can defer all his capital gains.
Yes. We are getting ready. I got a young man that works for me in the freight forwarding that he wants to be a flipper. And I've been going, Brandon, no, you just not listen to me. And he went to the one day and we are getting ready to go nutsos on the distressed seller or the burned out landlord, probably starting next week.
I think he's going to be on a $10 3-day class coming up next week as well, right?
Yes, he is. Yep. He signed up for that too, for the one for March.
That's great. Tim, I've always appreciated that we have to change what we teach depending on what the market is. Now, we know a lot of gurus don't change anything. They just teach the same crap for 20 years, whether it works or not, right, in the market they're in. But we've come up with a lot of different angles, and you have always done a great job of embracing it. And you're dang seasoned, man. You're not a rookie at all. But we'll come up with some new angle, and you just like it. You have an open mind.
Yeah, well, you have to change, right? I mean, situations change. No matter what you do for a living, something changes, either in your personal life or in your business life or in the market that you're in. When you do with real estate, you have to change with it. I mean, if you don't, you're not going to go anywhere.
Law of nature: either you grow or you die. That's the bottom line,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Eddie. It's well, you already know it. It's my thought. It's a great business. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And
You dealt with a lot of asset classes. You dealt with land. You dealt with houses. You dealt with
Mobile
commercial.
homes.
Any particular preference? Which one you like the most?
Well, to me, I like the single family simply because you're helping somebody that's in distress. That's my go-to. I mean, commercial's nice. You don't have to deal with some of the humdrum land that just sits, right? There's nothing there. But when you get to help somebody, to me, that's really, and they're helping me as well, obviously. But when you can help somebody stay in their house, to me, that's the big deal.
Yes.
That's great. Tell us before you leave. Tell us a little bit of what you've learned, like looking back, like what is it that this business has taught you that you may have never figured out except for the note business taught you this? Is there something?
Probably because before it was all hard assets, right? The landlord deal. It's passive. And once you do the work, create the paper, or if you're purchasing a note and mortgage, it's passive. I mean, it gives you a lot of freedom so that you can, being a serial entrepreneur, you can be dumb enough and go buy another business and do something else.
And you're prone to do that, right?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. We just opened up
Tim
another
gets,
store last
like
week
I
in
said, he
Wilson.
gets with it. He'll get out there and strap on a tool belt, and he loves it. He loves it.
I get after him for that, Joe. Don't talk
I know
about
we do.
I say, look, you ain't gonna make no money with that hammer. You're gonna make money with that pencil.
Yeah, my old knees though, that's getting a little old for the knees, so that may have to slow down a tick here.
Yeah. He's not scared. He's not scared to work, and I applaud him for that. But I think you're getting out and doing a little physical work. It's good for your head.
Yes,
it is.
Yep.
And so I've never aggravated him too much about it, but that's not what we're teaching. Okay. So like Tim breaks some rules, but he makes it work at the end. Right.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Absolutely.
And it's a fun business. It is truly, because nothing's the same, right? Every deal is a little bit different. It's got a little different twist. So that's also a very fun aspect to me. That's because it keeps you going, keeps you on your toes. What about this? Well, heck, I've never heard of that. That's wild. Let's try it this way. And I just enjoy the business.
Yeah. It in some aspects it's rinse and repeat, Tim, and in some aspects it's not doing the same thing over and over. It's not mundane because there's so many wrinkles or so many twists that you've been able to learn how to do it, and now your mind's so creative in this area. You just think of things that you don't have to just do it the exact same way every time, because that is kind of boring for me.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, and Eddie is our chief visionary here. He keeps us on our toes, and that's one of the things I love, because we often get off one of these calls and I'm just going 400 miles an hour, and that's the power of keeping that brain going, man. It's just what's next, right? So, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So for our most seasoned note school person, what advice would you give our audience?
I would say get in it and go. Because when I first met you in 2004, I fell in love with it. Life got in the way. I got busy again, and it was 8, probably 9 or 10 when I really got into it. So I lost 5 or 6 years. You got to go. I mean, and as long as you put your effort in it to learn it and get the knowledge, it's amazing. It would change your outlook as far as retirement. You have to get in it and go.
Got to take action, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Tim Siebelink, you are an awesome guy. Thank you for being our friend. By the way, one more point I would say, and he would never say this of himself, he's also an extremely benevolent guy. And we have some adopted charities, and he's been very kind to them, and he still is many years later. So thank you for helping some kids that'll never actually know your name, Tim Siebelink.
That's fine. It's the pleasure's all mine.
Joe, close us out. Thank you, Tim. Love you, pal.
Thank you.
All
See y'all.
right. So thank you, Timmy. So guys, I think you have come to learn over the past months and actually about a year and a half now that we talk about at Note School, we talk about the Note School ecosystem that we've been able to build. And folks like Tim and folks that you've seen over the past, this is what we have on a daily basis at Note School that we train and we become friends with. And we just think it's probably the most positive and enthusiastic group of people that you'll ever be around, right? Nurturing and helping and willing to help others. So we really encourage you to reach out to us, right? noteschool.com/TV. Let's get you to a one-day class so you can see what really we are all about, get you in that Note School ecosystem and move you forward and learn to be like Tim, right? So thanks so much for being with us this week. And we look forward to seeing you next week at 11:05 Central Time on another episode of Note School TV. And as we always say, we will see you on the other side.